Sometimes people really do just want the simple solution. When I initially launched my wig range on Stellari, I went with three of my favorite colors that just so happened to be vivid, rich, and unconventional hair colors after years of interest on YouTube and people just as obsessed with the colors as I was. Emerald green, ruby red, and carnelian copper was the exact embodiment of years of experimenting and falling in love with vivid colors, providing an easy and risk-free solution for anyone who wanted those exact colors but without the commitment and without the damage. The collection did end up doing fairly well, with my emerald green wig in particular selling out now multiple times. However, as the months passed, more and more people started requesting a more natural line of wigs. Seeing just how easy it was to apply and put on, people who suffered from hair loss, thinning, or just wanted to experiment were keen to get their dream natural style. That is why I ended up launching my Better Than Basics collection, a series of natural wigs in blacks, browns, and blondes, and a variety of textures, and this ended up being even more successful as a collection than my first Vivid launch, with those wigs in particular needing to be restocked now every single month. But by far, the most unexpected bestseller was a wig that was never even meant to be. I had a long-term client of mine who bought regular wigs from me quite a few times, requesting a custom wig order. I do take on custom wig orders based on their complexity and how much it interests me to create, but I was on the fence about this particular request. She wanted my canvas blonde Better Than Basics wig, but with a natural dark root added. Nothing else. Initially, I was going to refuse this request because it wasn't something that I necessarily wanted to create. It didn't feature any vibrant tones, it wasn't highlighted or dip-dyed or money-pieced in any way, and the end result would be exactly as it sounds, a rooted blonde wig. Nonetheless, I did want to practice my wig rooting technique, so I took her on, but I also went on social media showing off the finished wig and asking the public if this was something that they were interested in. 21,000 views later and 400 active comments, and I learned that yes, the general public is in fact interested in nothing but a simple rooted blonde wig. That is what I'm creating today. Although it looks fairly simple, this wig is actually one that I need to reserve time in my calendar to dye. Every single one of these is painstakingly painted with each order that comes in. Although it is literally just a standard root application, no other colors, toners, or dyes added, the process takes upwards of an hour. Initially, when I first wanted to launch my wig collections, I wanted to create a basic sample, send it to my suppliers, and have them recreate it in their factories. This works with most of my wig colors, except for any of my rooted options. Every single time I requested a rooted wig, the roots were either way too block-like and harsh, with virtually no blending to the end color, or they were way too dark and contrasting with the otherwise blonde hair, or the knots and the lace were constantly stained to the point of the wig looking entirely comical. Each sample continuously made me want to remove this wig from my catalog until I came up with the realization that I would just simply have to hand paint them all. This wig is one that I have a love-hate relationship with. It is relatively basic, it features neutral colors, and is painstakingly long and tedious for the end outcome. At the same time, however, it is my best-selling wig and it is the most searched on my website. Its sheer simplicity, whilst knowing what goes into creating it, makes me have so much request for an otherwise simple-looking wig. From a bespoke formula to very deliberate application on the hair as close to the roots as possible without actually ever touching the lace, and then a gentle melt into the ends to avoid a sharp line. The bleached nature of the hair then requires extremely gentle care and a nourishing and hydrating conditioning process once it's washed. Because of the roots, it can be virtually worn in any way, and it can still look good and natural, but I do believe it looks best in a gentle blowout effect, so I always finish it off like this. If you are ordering this wig, or any of my rooted blonde options, that wig is hand-painted and created especially for you. And I swear so much doing it, but with each wig that I complete, I feel a deep sense of fulfillment and recognition that I created something that looks so easy and simple, but it took so much time and effort to create.
Fourth is just fear. You've already made the decision. Look where you started. Look where you are now.